So if you watched my video on meaning of life, know your purpose, you would know how important it is to find your purpose and how purpose differentiates from passion and all of that fizziness. And today we will be going over the steps to actually finding our purpose. So I got my notes, Lego. To touch on the meaning of the word purpose once again, purpose means striving to do something that makes more than just yourself happy. So if you're starting off by looking at how can I find my purpose or how can I find fulfillment, you're at risk of actually missing your purpose because you are focusing on how you can get the satisfaction, how you can get the fulfillment, when fulfillment really comes from helping other people and getting that fuzzy feeling that you get on the inside. And in following the how can I, you can be at risk of following your passion and following something that's only really for some type of short-term enjoyment and short-term project, as opposed to your purpose, which you want to do as a lifelong thing. Only your heart knows what your purpose is, and once you listen to those heart's desires and listen to your intuition particularly and the word, the voice of God, then you will know exactly what your purpose is and what it is, the direction that you should be following in order to get that long-term fulfillment and joy that you want. You want to be listening to your intuition, listening to your heart when you're going about your day, and not even just about your day, but when it comes to choosing, making the big decisions that you make in life in terms of which career to follow and what path to go and all of that type of jazz. Basically deciding what you're going to do with your life. Now, I love the illustration that my pastor gave. So have you ever been in that situation where you got a gift from someone and you kind of open it up and you're like, oh my god, this is the best gift ever, yeah, only one thing, what exactly is it? How do I use this? And what do I do? Well, that's kind of what life is. So we have been given this beautiful gift of life from God, our creator, and he knows what it is that we're supposed to do with our lives, what our purpose is while we're here on this gorgeous earth. I love to call things gorgeous and beautiful and lovely. So when we were given the gift of life, really, if we don't know what we're doing with our life, the first step is probably to go to him and ask him, hey God, what is it exactly that you want me to do with my life, or what is it that you gave me life to do with? I just asked the same question, just backwards. The great thing is that God knows the desires of our hearts, so he knows what it is that we want to do, what it is that brings us joy doing in our everyday lives. Once we go to God and find out, what is his purpose for our life, then we can find what our purpose is within his purpose and within his plan. And it might sound a little bit daunting to some people, like, oh my goodness, how do I know what God's purpose is for my life or what God's plan is? One of God's plans is to take you out of bondage, to take you and save you from slavery. So slavery is just a situation where you're living a life or you're in a job or a career that you don't actually enjoy or that's not giving you any fulfillment. You walk there every day and you kind of just like, yeah. Or even when you're questioning yourself, is this it? Is this it? The answer to that question is no. God's purpose for us is to take us out of trouble and out of troubled situations. He does not want us to be unhappy. So if you're in a place where you're unhappy, then good news, that is not God's purpose for you. One of God's second purposes for our lives is to use our gifts, our skills and our talents to serve other people and to serve him. Now, I particularly love this so much because your gifts and your talents is something that you were genuinely given and just something you were born with, like you're naturally good at. You know when they say your God-given gift? That is your gift, that's your talent. And it's in his purpose for us to take those God-given gifts and use them in our everyday lives. So that means that we are born to do it and we are basically pros, or can become even better pros at what our purpose is. And while we use those gifts and skills and talents to serve other people and to serve God, we're gonna get that sense of fulfillment and really develop a meaning to our lives, to feel satisfied and happy and just full of joy when it comes to your career and your future. Delight yourselves in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. So when you then develop that relationship with the Lord, it's like you're in a relationship where you have the top guide by your side. You know, someone who knows all the ropes, who knows all the secret little passages and just the way and how to do things. And when you have that top guide or sat nav leading you with the map, you can't get lost. And because God wants to get us out of slavery, that's exactly what He will do in that position. And when you develop that relationship with God, He will literally help to guide you through those not so good and not so comforting times, and to guide you to a place where you find that career or that path that you will get fulfillment from and that you will get the joy from, and guide you to your purpose. And because of that, the first step in finding your purpose is to develop that relationship with the top dog, aka develop that relationship with God. He will speak to you through your heart, and He will speak to you through your intuition. He will speak to you in many different situations, really. Which leads us to the second step. Because God is here to guide us to our purpose by using our God-given gifts and skills, we then have to actually use those God-given gifts and skills to help other people, as that is going to help us to find our purpose. Using myself as an example, I study business, and within business there's so many different paths that you can take. So I wanted to go down a finance route at some point. I wanted to go down a project management route. I even wanted to start my own business, of which I still do want to start my own business. I wanted to do events management. And one thing I realized as I was going down each of these different paths is what I actually wanted from them. Although I was good at finance, and although I was good at project management, and although I'm good at events management, when I was practicing those different roles and helping people, or rather helping people in my job within those roles, I didn't get a sense of fulfillment from it. I wasn't feeling like, yes, this is my purpose. I was feeling like, you know what, this is something I thought I wanted to do, but it's not actually what I wanted to do. But in doing those roles and managing and planning that project and joining that finance society and working on that project, I realized that I don't actually want to do those particular roles. Even though I was good at doing those jobs, I didn't want to do those jobs. They weren't giving me the satisfaction. But doing those jobs walked me to my purpose. They walked me to what exactly it is that I want to do. And if I hadn't actually used those skills that I have been given, I wouldn't have walked myself into the direction of finding my purpose. So the second step then is to use that God-given gift that you've been given and practice it, not just going off to some random career, but practice it in a situation where you are helping other people. As you're in those positions and practicing that, God will lead you to many more opportunities, reveal a lot more opportunities, and your purpose that may spark from that one gift that you have. And on to our third and final step on how to find your purpose. In this step, you need to get your eyes off yourself and onto other people. Go into situations thinking, how can I invest myself, my skills, my talents, all of me, in other people or in the other situation? What can you bring to the table rather than what the table can bring to me? Although I do like it when the table brings food to me. The third step is be where you're at to make a difference in other people's lives. This can apply even if you're not in step 2 yet, where you're working on using your gifts to help other people. But wherever it is that you're at the moment, you need to be where you're at to help other people. And you know what? Let's add a fourth step into that. And the fourth step is actually do it. None of this will happen unless you genuinely want and put effort into taking the steps towards finding your purpose and towards following God's purpose for your life. Start taking these 3 steps. Develop that relationship with God. Use your gifts to help other people, and be where you're at to make a difference to others. You don't want to be in a situation where you're stuck and feel like you're not getting any fulfillment, or even asking the question as to, is this really what life's about? Is this all that there is? Because if you're asking yourself that question 99.9% of the time, the answer is no. That is not God's purpose for you. God's purpose for you will never be something that you don't enjoy doing. So I definitely encourage you to start taking those steps in finding that purpose and in following that purpose. Following your purpose will come with a lot of sacrifice that you have to make. But guess what? You make sacrifices in your everyday lives. I bet you anything, the job that you're in right now, you're making a sacrifice to be in that job. The sacrifice can come mainly in the form of either time, energy, or money. And that time can be time that you wanted to spend or that you wish you could spend doing other things or developing other areas of your life that you genuinely enjoy doing. If you follow your purpose, you're then using that time that was sacrificed to do something that you enjoy doing, and it will no longer be a sacrifice of time, but it might be a sacrifice of, say, energy or money in another case, but it will just be a sacrifice that you enjoy doing. So you can pick the sacrifice that you're willing to take, be that sacrificing for some type of role that you're maybe not that interested in, or you don't feel like you're getting a sense of fulfillment, or sacrificing it to get a fulfilling career and live that fulfilling for life that everyone pretty much wants to live. Start taking the steps to following your purpose. You will definitely not regret it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like if you want more of these types of videos, as it really supports this channel as well as giving me ideas of what it is that you want more of. Subscribe as I post a new video every Friday. I hope you have a fabulous week and weekend and enjoy life and follow your purpose. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye. Guide you through those